Nuketown has just dropped in Black Ops 6's multiplayer, so it is time to rank every single version of Nuketown from the worst to the best. Now, we're going to be ranking them on a couple different things. First of all, the visuals, how nice do they look, how interesting are they in terms of the backstory behind this Nuketown site, and of course the actual gameplay of them. How well does that game's mechanics work on a map such as Nuketown? The actual layout of them are pretty much always the same. Nuketown has really never significantly changed, but obviously depending on what game you're playing, the mechanics are going to be very different, so the map will probably play a bit differently. And we are only including the multiplayer versions of Nuketown. It doesn't really make sense to compare like Nuketown Zombies versus Nuketown in multiplayer. What kind of comparison would that even be? I have no idea. So let's jump right into this. The number 6 spot is going to be Black Ops Cold War's Nuketown, which is really unfortunate because I don't want to put any Nuketown in last place, considering I think all of these are solid maps. Nuketown tends to be the best map in each game that it's in. I would say, at least for most of these Call of Duties, yes, Nuketown is the best map in it. Black Ops Cold Wars, I think, is the weakest for a couple different reasons. First of all, visually speaking, I don't love how it looks. I think the backstory of it's pretty interesting, how this Nuketown site was abandoned and a bunch of kids and other people from this time period, which of course was in the 1980s, came to this site to kind of just like hang out. They turned it into a hangout place essentially. And if you look around the map, there's all sorts of graffiti, there's all sorts of pieces of clothing on the mannequins that they kind of dressed them all up in. It's pretty cool how they did that. I definitely enjoy that aspect of this version of Nuketown, but visually, I just don't really care for how it looks. It looks kind of dull and kind of gross. I get that was kind of the point because it's abandoned, but I just don't think it really pops the way a lot of these other versions of Nuketown does. And when it comes to visibility, that did become a big problem on this version of Nuketown. It was kind of hard to see enemy players sometimes. And when it comes to Black Ops Cold War's gameplay, I love Black Ops Cold War's multiplayer. I think it's really good, but the score streak system, the way it was made, kind of made it so small maps in this game, especially if you're playing a mode like Domination or Hardpoint, almost everyone was guaranteed at least their mid-tier streaks, which made it so streaks like Air Patrol kind of just destroyed all of the streaks in the sky. And because you were pretty much guaranteed to get at least some streaks, there was a lot of streaks going on within this match from players who maybe weren't even that good in the first place. So I just really don't think this map works that well compared to the other versions of Nuketown, but it still is a fantastic experience, and obviously I had a great time on it during Black Ops Cold War's life cycle. In number 5 spot is going to be the original Nuketown from Black Ops 1. I know what you're going to say. I know what you're going to say. You're going to freak out on me. You're going to say, what are you talking about, Fusion? This makes no sense. What are you doing? Hear me out. There is a reason why I'm putting this in this spot, and we're going to get to that in a little bit. But the main reason is because the new version of Nuketown is essentially the same, but it looks better. So this version of Nuketown is losing its value when it comes to what it is, how it looks, because yeah, we have a better version of it that looks pretty much the exact same. It's just better graphics, better colors, better pretty much everything. And I like Black Ops 1 a lot. It's a solid multiplayer experience, but I do think the faster movement that the later games have does kind of make the Nuketown experience just a little bit better. Don't get me wrong, I love Black Ops 1, it's a great Call of Duty game, but I don't think that the experience was the best possible Nuketown experience you can get. The fact that it is the original Nuketown and how iconic it is, that does not immediately mean I have to put it in a high place. I know a lot of people have that mentality where they're like, oh, it's the first Nuketown, it has to be one of the best. I disagree. Just because it's the first does not mean I need to rank it higher than this. This is where I think it deserves to be, and that's just how it's going to be. But obviously, you got to give it some credit for being the first version of Nuketown. The history behind how this map was created is really interesting. Apparently, Nuketown wasn't originally on their schedule to be a map to release with Black Ops 1, but randomly the devs started talking and saying that they wanted to include a really small map, smaller than any map they've ever done before, at least for Treyarch. Obviously, Infinity Ward did Shipment a few years before, but they wanted to do just a really small map that has a chaotic feel, but is still controlled in its nature. Like, it's not just complete mindless chaos, it also has some sort of control over it. And I think they did a fantastic job of putting it together. Apparently it took less than a week for them to put it together, and they realized, yeah, this was actually a really fun map. Let's throw it in the game. Very glad they did, because it became the most iconic map in Call of Duty history. In number 4 spot is going to be Black Ops 4's Nuketown, and I know a lot of people don't like this version of Nuketown, and I'm not really sure why exactly. Either it's of course the fact that they just don't like Black Ops 4, or it's because of how different it is, but that's kind of the reason I do really like this version of Nuketown, is because of how different it is. It gives it a very unique feel compared to the other versions of Nuketown, but it still looks amazing. Visually, it is very pleasing. I love the snowy aesthetic to it, and the fact that instead of it being, you know, in Nevada like Nuketown usually is, this version takes place in Russia. very, very different. It has that Cold War feel to it, even though, of course, this game doesn't take place in the Cold War, but that's kind of the feeling they were going for. And I think that was a really unique direction to go in, because obviously the whole point of Nuketown is that it has that American feel to it, but having a version of it that's Russian, I think that's kind of an interesting switch up. But what makes this map work so well for me is mainly just Black Ops 4's mechanics. I'm a big fan of Black Ops 4's multiplayer. I'm sure a lot of you know that already, but these mechanics work so well on small maps. The small maps in Black Ops 4 are incredible. They are so fast paced, and the time to kill being relatively slow, or actually very slow compared to most Call of Duties, is what makes it work so well. I have had so many incredible games on Nuketown and Black Ops 4 where I've just gotten like 100+ kills. If you want like the most amount of kills in any Call of Duty experience ever, I'm telling you, play Black Ops 4's Nuketown. You will probably get 100 kills a lot of your games, if you're a good player, of course, because it is just that hectic, that chaotic, and that fast-paced. And there is a really cool Easter egg on this version of Nuketown where the mannequins will in fact chase after you. In number 3 spot is going to go to Black Ops 6's Nuketown, which is the one that just released. Of course, I haven't played a lot of games on it. I've probably played it like 5 or 6 times now, but I can tell you right now, visually it is stunning. Not the best looking version of Nuketown, but it is basically Black Ops 1's version, but updated graphics, and just overall the colors pop so well. And so far, the mechanics for Black Ops 6 work very well on the experience. The one thing holding it back for me, honestly, is the fact that I can't loop streaks in this game. Part of the fun of Nuketown is hopping on and just going on long kill streaks and just looping those streaks as much as you can. And the fact that you can't do that in Black Ops 6 does kind of take away from the enjoyment of it. I went on a couple streaks while playing Nuketown the past few hours, and the fact that I couldn't keep going on my streaks, it just kind of left a sour taste in my mouth. But it is an incredible version of Nuketown, do not get me wrong. There is a lot of fun to be had here. In number 2 spot is going to be Black Ops 2's Nuketown, which is essentially, again, the same as the other versions of Nuketown, but it looks all futuristic. They basically took that first version and just kind of gave it a retro future feel to it, which is interesting because although this game takes place in 2025, instead of making it just look futuristic, they went with that retro futuristic feel, which makes it almost feel kind of classic in a sense, where it looks like what the 1960s thought the future was going to look like, essentially, which is kind of interesting how they did that. And of course, Black Ops 2's mechanics were incredibly fun. Going for streaks on this map was such an amazing experience, trying to get swarms especially. And of course, this is also when the Easter eggs for Nuketown started to get really, really cool, where you get to actually play arcade games on the Nuketown map itself. Definitely not the craziest Easter egg Nuketown has had, but still pretty cool nonetheless. And in the number 1 spot is easily going to be Black Ops 3's Nuketown. This is a no-brainer for me personally. I mean, it is my favorite Call of Duty of all time, but just the Nuketown experience itself, look how visually gorgeous it is. The colors pop, they explode in your face. It is such a gorgeous looking map. It has by far the best Easter eggs out of any Nuketown version, where you get to actually shoot off all the mannequin heads and you get chased by the mannequins. They basically act as zombies. And if you shoot off the heads and the arms, they will come at you and then they will stop moving when you look at them. So it's just so cool how they were able to do this. And obviously the advanced movement of BO3 just makes the map so much more fun. People just boosting all over the place. I know a lot of people don't like that. They don't enjoy boost jumping, but if you like boost jumping, especially how it is in BO3, this map works really, really well. I think they made a lot of smart decisions with the map design, with the wall running spots. They're really smartly placed. Obviously the buses having that like simulation stuff, kind of like, you know, ripping apart and coming to the sky. And the reason why that works is because you don't have people boosting over the trucks trying to snipe people and shoot them. And I think that would definitely be not very great, but the way they designed it, it works so extremely well. And again, the color schemes is just amazing. Absolutely love this version of Nuketown. I think most people probably agree with me, but let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section down below. What are your favorite versions of Nuketown? I would love to hear your thoughts. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Peace out, everyone.